What do you see? Where most people see a cafe, I see tomorrow's leaders. Where most people see a warehouse, I see hope. And an airport, I see an international hub. This is our world. See it from a different perspective. News, arts and culture. Connecting your world. From my home here in Abu Dhabi.
Connect the World with Becky Anderson. Sunday through Thursday on CNN.
The novel coronavirus, now officially known as COVID-19, has been making headlines since it first came to light late in 2019. Spreading from China to dozens of other countries, COVID-19 has now infected well over 1 million people worldwide. Because this version of the coronavirus is new to science, researchers are rushing to understand how to treat infections and how to ensure that the virus does not spread further. And because there are no specific treatments for COVID-19 at this time, many experts are focusing on prevention. Scientists from the Greifswald University Hospital and Ruhr-Universität Bochum, both in Germany, recently compiled information from 22 studies on coronaviruses. Their work, which appears in the Journal of Hospital Infection, helps us to understand how long coronaviruses survive on surfaces and how people may be able to destroy them. And it particularly focuses on the coronaviruses responsible for two of the most recent outbreaks before COVID-19, severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS, and Middle East respiratory syndrome, MERS. In that study, the authors show that, depending on the material and the conditions, human coronaviruses can remain infectious from 2 hours to 9 days. Overall, the authors conclude human coronaviruses can remain infectious on inanimate surfaces at room temperature for up to 9 days. At a temperature of 30 degrees centigrade, 86 degrees Fahrenheit or more, the duration of persistence is shorter. Veterinary coronaviruses have been shown to persist even longer, for 28 days, leaving hospitals and clinics across the globe scrambling for solutions. One innovative solution comes from a small company in Woodinville, Washington, called Briotech. And ironically, the disruptive answer may be found in nature, in a little molecule that you make in your own body called hipochlorous acid, or HOCl. This molecule, HOCl, has been around for hundreds of millions of years and was discovered over 100 years ago. We make it as the natural systemic solution to disinfection and healing and defense in our own white blood cells. So does your dog or cat. So do porpoises, fish, and annoying fruit flies. Most life makes and uses this molecule to kill pathogens. Scientists and doctors have written about HOCl since World War I. Peer literature about its benefits abound in wound care, burn, and disinfection publications. So why isn't it in every first aid kit or every hospital and clinic? It turns out that the molecule is wildly unstable. Even when you make it in your white blood cells, it only lasts for a few seconds. It's been used in hospitals for a century, but made next to the beds so that it can be used immediately before it breaks down. That works, but is unreliable, expensive, and that instability makes it impractical to use. When Briotech learned of this molecule, they realized that they had a unique advantage. The stability problem wasn't with chemistry, physics, or biology. In fact, there were a lot of companies who tried making it with standard chemistry models. But Briotech realized that this was a manufacturing problem.
I've got a 40-year background in disruptive manufacturing, doing kind of the unmanufacturable solutions for some of the large corporations in America. And when I first read about HOCl, I was very skeptical, because how can a molecule exist that heals wounds, that disinfects, that takes care of MRSA, and people are dying from MRSA. So why isn't this molecule out in the world? And my father had died from burns, and you don't die from burns, you die from infection. And I had been in China in 2002 during SARS and kind of watched firsthand what pandemics do. And so in reading about HOCl, I started reading PubMed articles, and I quickly realized that the problem with HOCl was that it couldn't be used the way it should be used in all of its applications because it was unstable. I recognize that was a manufacturing problem and that our experience would allow us to do perhaps what nobody else had ever done.
The result? Briotech developed a scalable process to produce a uniquely pure synthesis of the HOCl molecule from salt water. So Brio HOCl is a pure and stable liquid. It's stable when frozen or boiled. It's stable as a fog or as a spray. It's even stable in a bottle for years, offering for the first time real options to healing and disinfection through the ability to ship globally. That stability offers a potency that the National Institute of Health says is unprecedented. A disinfectant that is hundreds of times stronger than bleach, yet safe enough to spray on a baby's rash or even spray in your eyes.
Brio's product is special because of consistency and purity. And consistency comes from controls on the process of manufacture so that you always get a high level and pure product. And along with purity goes a couple of other things. It goes the security of safety. You don't have contaminants. And it brings power, brings potency. And that's true for many biologically active things. But when you have power, you have potency, we have something special. And we've demonstrated that in our collaborations with government laboratories and universities. We've actually demonstrated some power and potency that was completely unexpected, and it's only been shown for Brio HOCl. And that's a pleasant surprise. Consistency, purity, safety, power, those are the elements that make this a special product.
By committing themselves to overcoming the flaws and deficiencies inherent in historically crude methods of conventional HOCl production, Briotech has made tremendous strides that have established them as the leader of the HOCl industry. Briotech formulations have consistently imparted breakthrough discoveries in science and chemistry that have been validated through published scientific evidence from prestigious colleagues at the National Institutes of Health, the University of Washington, and many others. Brio has no adverse effects on human skin or eyes, can be aerosolized as a surface treatment, and is safe within dense populations such as schools, hospitals, airplanes, childcare centres, public transportation centres, airports, subways, buses, taxis, and more. And, like every other product that will eventually be used for therapeutic use in humans to attack COVID-19, Brio is also undergoing the rigid clinical testing to confirm its safety and efficacy in the use of humans specifically for that aspect of its impact on COVID-19.
So in the United States, we have regulatory agencies that keep everybody safe. And one of those is the Environmental Protection Agency. The EPA is responsible for the safety and disinfecting of things, not people, things. The FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, in the medical sphere, it's responsible for things that touch people. So the EPA does things, the FDA does people. We have a disinfecting capability that has an EPA certification. So we can be used to disinfect things, surfaces, tables, chairs, airline tray tables, buses, trains, keyboards, but not people. And we think since Briotech was originally designed to help with burns and wounds and the reducing of infections that come as a result of them, that FDA certification is important. Now, as it happens, we have, of course, submitted our application to the FDA. It's a 263-page submission, and it involves animals, making sure that it's safe for animals. It involves cytotoxicity, making sure that Brio doesn't damage cells. We have done all the tests that are required, but the FDA is a busy agency.
In the meantime, Brio's EPA and lab testing credentials for all sanitizing and disinfecting are impeccable. When all is said and done, if Briotech's global mission goes according to plan, Brio HOCl will help make water systems clean worldwide, stop the spread of deadly infections in hospitals, eliminate the spread of food poisoning in agricultural settings, food plants and commercial kitchens, and help curb cholera and other diseases during natural disasters. But if ever there was a time for a product like Brio and a company like Briotech, This current era in human history of pandemics and economic uncertainty is certainly it.